Behind every success, there's a team that keeps things running quietly, smoothly, and efficiently. Right there is where we come in. At Hash Solutions Limited, we handle customer service, back office operations, software development, annotations, ESG services, and finance and accounting so you can focus on growing your business. Whether scaling up or managing seasonal demand, our flexible outsourcing solutions fit businesses of any size. We help you operate smarter, save costs, and deliver quality. Call us now at +260 976 871 617 or email support@hashbposervices.com or visit our website at www.hashbposervices.com. Hash Solutions Limited, bringing calm efficiency.
The station that speaks your mind. No filters, no fakes, just pure fire with top tier presenters. Hot FM at 20.
The heat is on. Welcome to Zambia's hottest radio talk show, The Hot Seat, exclusive to Hot FM 87.7.
Good morning and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Hot Seat here on Hot 87.7. My name is Chipoka Mulenga. I am your host. And this morning, I'm glad to say I'm joined by the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Honorable Chipoka Mulenga. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning, Chisha. Good morning, listeners, and everyone else that is joining us from different platforms. Thank you for having me on Hot FM.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we're also live on our sister station, Kwitu FM 93.3, also live on Kanele FM 97.7 in Lundazi, also live on the Hot FM Zambia Facebook page. Go ahead and leave a comment on that live stream, and we'll take a look at it as the show goes on. So, Honorable, let's begin with a topical issue, something that's been hot in the press recently. President Hakainde Hichilema having stones thrown towards, in his direction when he was at Chiwempala Market. And this happens to be in your jurisdiction. And a lot of people asking, were you aware of how charged, the ground was leading up to the president coming through and addressing that crowd?
Okay. You've asked a very interesting question where you're saying, were you aware how charged the ground was? Let me first say something that is very critical to all of us, very important. And before I answer your question, let me thank His Excellency the President for having taken time to respond to the call and the cries of the people of Chingola District, Chingola constituency, and particularly the people of Chiwempala, the marketeer, the steel traders, the fishmongers, everyone else. After losing the infrastructure that provides a decent livelihood for them, which we refer to as a market, for years, I'm sure you have taken note as a media house, year in, year out, Chiwempala market gets gutted time and again. It is the more reason why, for the first time after many years, we have decided to start putting up brick and mortar structures so that these stables, I insist, I'm not saying tables, we move from makeshift stables, fikopa, timber, plastiki, nature to make trading shelters. The reason why you have seen our marketeers, our traders at Chiwempala put up such facilities, they want to provide for themselves. But leadership or governments, we have not taken a responsibility in many years to put up decent shelters for them. But under this regime, in the last 4 years, we have begun building the markets at Chiwempala. If you go there today, where the fire started, the only structures that survived are the newly constructed shelters that we have done. We're working with the council and the community under this new administration, bringing in the CDF, bringing the locally generated funds to do that. Now, unfortunately, we had that fire which gutted the market shelters. This is something that even the president himself said, livelihood for the people have been lost. It is not just good enough for me to send my provincial minister, to send my member of parliament and other leaders to sympathize with the people. Personally, I should go home there, see their concerns, see their plight, feel it and share with them, and see the little I can contribute for them to stand and do things again to sustain themselves. And that is the reason why His Excellency the President had to go into Chingola to be with the people. And I must clearly say it. I'm sure you were all seeing, because today's world is captured live. The way he was received, to the extent that his motorcade was blocked, and people demanded that, let's walk with you so that you can interact with the people and share with them. And he walked with them all the way from the Catholic Church into touring the market facilities. You saw it. The crowds were happy to see him. A sense of comfort, a sense of fulfillment and healing came. And through there now, the address time came. Unfortunately, I want to respond now to your question where you said, were you aware of the charged environment? It is unfortunate that when somebody responds to your call in a time of plight, to see how he supports you to build more markets, to support you and empower you with what has happened, then a few irate, a few mischievous, a few disgruntled, a few probably, I don't want to say sent, because investigation is still going on, young men start throwing that, and everybody had to move away and scamper in different directions. And I've seen how frenzy social media has gone, especially in the political circles. The stones that were thrown at the podium where the president was were not thrown at Hakainde Hichilema, were thrown at the presidency of Zambia. So it surprises me when I see even other political players. Unfortunately, even sometimes you find that even the religious organizations celebrating that. But I want to say something as Member of Parliament. That is not a reflection of the views and the mood in our district, in my constituency.
What's the clear picture then? Why did those people throw those stones at the motorcade?
Look, investigations are still going on, but I'll tell you from the social...
You're a key person because you're from there, and
yes.
These are your people. So
exactly,
I'm pretty sure you've had conversations with people.
Yes, yes.
What are you being told?
Okay, I've even interacted with them because I'm ever on the ground. I had to come back because of the cabinet meeting we had yesterday, and I have to attend this meeting, and tomorrow I'm going back to continue to engage the public and to understand this, because ultimately we need to work together, you, the media, and everyone else, to speak against violence, to speak against rioting. What is obtaining on the ground is this. Chingola constituency is a place where over time, in many years, successive governments had allowed illegalities to continue in the name of our young boys called the Jarabos, going into the mines, how they produce the copper mining there, dying unsafely, illegally, or many other things had been allowed. I'll tell you the reason why it had been allowed. In the past years, it was perpetuated so much because it was used for political gains. They were used to say, Lutulenwa opposition will allow you to work here. But as they allowed them to do that, it became part of a livelihood. You will understand that in Chingola, our young men and women who are working underground there, some of the marketeers are their wives, some are their mothers, some are their sisters. So it begins to be a point where there is a twinning or there is a joint relationship. But don't forget, in the year 2023, we buried 36 lives. When the rains came, at once everybody died. And I'm very sure, unofficially I can tell you this, I strongly feel maybe some more lives are there. Only that we could not access places where they were. The president has always been talking about one thing. We need to have mining that is legal, that is safe, that is structured, and that is secure. And in the same vein, that is why you have seen that we have moved into Mumbwa, we have moved into Northwestern Province and other places to bring our young men and women and give them licenses. Through the Ministry of Mines, he's more competent to come and address the numbers that he has given and what they're doing. I can just give on top of it, because I sit in cabinet with him, about 1,489 mining licenses to our young small-scale miners have been given. The same ones we used to call illegal miners. So that now, and right now, as I'm telling you, they're going through the process of training so that they can, and equipping, and also being linked to financial institutions so they can mine on their own. Now, back into Chingola, we said, this thing, we can't continue losing lives because we want to stay in power, because of being politicians. 36 lives, my dear brother, Chisha, lives lost. And not only 36 lives, those are what is recorded. But on a daily basis, rumors have it that 2 die, 3 die, 4 die, they hide it. Because when they bring it out, they know that, because of political leadership, we can't keep losing lives. So what have we decided to do? But remember, that's sincerely mine. In the year 2008, if not 2018, my record should serve me right, 2008, 2018, it's a 20 with an 8. I don't know whether it's a 0 or 1, but 2018, that thing, during the past regime, it had been given, if not under MMD, it had been given to a team called Senseli. These are owned by the residents of Chingola, who claim to be the legal owners. Not claim, they are the legal owners. So they've been holding that asset while this perpetuation of illegal mining has been continuing. Now suddenly they came up to say, look, we need to have access to our asset so that we can create decent jobs, also contribute to the revenue generation, and contribute to the treasury of the country. But now when we say, okay, now young men, can you hold on a little bit? Well, we structure something for you. Then you start working with these people. While they've been out, remember there was a riot that came. But during that riot process, because it was not accepted, the provincial minister, the minister of mines, they know best, they went to the areas. I was out in campaigns in Muchinga province when that happened. So when they went there to engage now the young men and the community to say, okay, given what has happened, we need to support the marketeers. And an allotment of about 10, we engage the company that is coming in. It's a Zambian company, owned by Zambians. You may say, because we love to work with foreign nationals, the owners of that asset, part of them is there's a Stephen Chimba, there's a Mr. Maxwell Mutale, who are residents of Chingola. But as you are working with their partners, can we find a way to bring in these young men on board, work with them in a structured way? Such facilities don't happen overnight. And this is where now about a 10 million kwacha was given to the marketeers to rebuild their market foundations that was lost during a riot. And they offered to say about 4 million kwacha we are going to give now to the young men so that they have something to start with or wait to use while they are waiting for the offering into the structured mining system. But now the fire gutted the market again. When His Excellency went there, this is speculation I'm telling you, given what I've heard based on what you told me, to say it's a sad thing that we have lost a market. For the marketeers that are here, these mothers, who do not want to steal, who do not want to sit at home, they want to contribute to the well-meaning livelihoods of the community. It's not about individuals. Let me support them with about a 10 million kwacha to sustain their livelihoods. Then from what I hear, the young men said, but you gave them during the riot, and you want to give them again during the fire while we are waiting for our 4 million. I hear discontent came from there, and that behavior started happening. But I need to say this as Member of Parliament and also as a resident of Chingola. Waiting for a long time or being disgruntled that you are yet to be paid is not justifiable to go in a riotous manner in Vandalism Act. That should never be tolerated and never be entertained in any way. When there is conflict, we should sit down together and resolve conflicts. I've been a member of parliament in that place for 4 years, and this is how best we've resolved problems. I have sat in this government. I have seen students at the Copperbelt University, students at the University of Zambia. In the past years, it was normal for university students to go and throw stones. The message by His Excellency is, can we dialogue? We resolve issues amicably. That is the way to go. But when we resort to that, it will never be used as an excuse for indiscriminateness.
Yeah,
it is criminality.
There's nothing that can justify throwing stones.
And
at
I
a
need
president.
to say something about Chisha. Just hear me, my brother. I know you want to come in. Just quickly, my brother. If I have been paying attention to certain sections of society, most importantly, the opposition political parties, celebrating that which happened, my dear countrymen and women, I need to make a clarion call. We should not allow Zambia to return to hooliganism. That is what they are missing, where solutions to political gaining triumphancy is in violence. where cadres now begin to rule markets, begin to rule the streets, where thugs begin to show prominence in anything. We should abhor that in its strongest terms. And that's why even myself, whoever will be found wanting, I have got no courage, no even ability to start saying, the law must take its course. The president as commander-in-chief, he gave a directive. Do not discharge any firearm or anything that will escalate this. Allow everybody to disperse in an amicable manner, and they did. But definitely, the law must take its course. I thank you, Atish.
Indeed. So you've given a clear assessment, and according to what you've been told, and even interacting with people on the ground as to what led to those stones being hurled at the presidency, as you put it. Why then is there this narrative that there are people who are sponsoring these young people to do that, when these are people who are disgruntled based off of promises that were made to them, and they feel like something has been taken away from them because that's a way of life in that particular area? That's
why I'm not legally competent to delve into what you have just brought out. I don't want to interfere with the investigation that are going on. I'm telling you, like you rightly told me, what is that is on the ground that happening. But I should tell you again, there are rumors of serious sponsoring of those things. Why I want to avoid that question, in-depth conversation, because I know more questions will come from you to say, who do you think is doing this? I don't want to preempt things. Let the law take its course. Definitely, there was some motivation from somewhere, given what I have heard. But I don't want to speculate, because it will lead to naming people and saying other things. Let the law take its course. But I'll tell you something. I saw again, Zambia is a very interesting place. When I went to Chingola, because I was out when that was happening, His Excellency sent me to represent him into a certain meeting in China, because tomorrow, or any day after tomorrow, we are receiving the Vice President of China, or should I say the Premier of China, coming to Zambia. So there are a lot of preparatory meetings that were happening. So when I came back, these are the engagements I had. In the morning, I had a whole lot of marketeers at my home trying to engage. For one thing, Mr. Mini MP, that does not reflect the views of our people in Chingola. Please take a message to His Excellency of how sorry, how disappointed, how we are lamenting the situation. I went to the market, people were saying the same thing, but interesting, what happens? People start saying, they've been paid to do this. Who paid them? I didn't pay anyone to do that. They are saying from their own volition. Those are the masses that received their son Aka in the Ichlema into the land of Chingola. So if they say something like, look, and as a country, we should be real and abhor wrong things. There comes a time when we should judge ourselves based on the content of our character. Violence must be abhorred by anyone. The church, the civil society, and the community. Pay attention, Zambians. Those that are celebrating that are those that led with an iron fist, that want to bring hooliganism back. We will not get back to that. There could be challenges. It could be load shedding, the high cost of living, among many other things, but they are never resolved by violence.
When you talk about they want to bring hooliganism back, we then saw UPND cadres attacking a PF secretariat. Isn't that an indication that there is hooliganism within the UPND with these cadres?
Thank you, Bachisha, for bringing that. And I was listening to the national chairperson, my national chairperson, Mr. Gilbert Liswaniso, and he admitted to say these are our cadres who have behaved in this way, and we do not condone such behavior. We are on the record, and you have seen the way we have been in terms of peace in the past 4 years. We have pockets of young men and women, yes, who would behave that way, and I'll still say does not reflect who we are. And there will be disciplinary action, and the national chairperson, youth chairperson, clearly stated it. They have behaved in that manner, but the party has got procedures of how to deal with such erring officials. Don't forget, it was under our administration where we even had a senior government official, or should I say party official, who issued even wrong statements against the fallen son of the land, 6th Republican President, Edgar Lungu. He was suspended immediately. We do not condone that. And I want to say something. I come from Chingola. My youths, my message to them, my leadership, my message to them, peace should prevail. Never raise a stone because somebody has raised it. It is dialogue. The bar of politics must be raised. Never celebrate thuggery. Always brings knowledge, sense, value to the table. That is what Zambians want. Always bring solutions to the table. But Chisha, why are Zambians holding UPND accountable today to say, you said this is what is happening, can you do this, do it better? Because we provided solutions when we were even in opposition. And this is what we are also calling for the opposition today. Can you bring solutions to the table? Don't keep reminding Zambians of the challenges because they know them, they're feeling them. Solutions to the table. Then we can talk together. We are a government that is sensible, reasonable, and value in how we engage. The president challenged the opposition in his last address in Parliament. Even you, the opposition, come to the table. If you've got solutions to power challenges, we will implement them. I want to thank the Member of Parliament, Mr. Aaron Daka. Aaron Daka was at State House and you all viewed it. He was educated in China. He has even married our Mulam from China there, and he's got a lot of connections. He responded to the call, and he has brought Chinese investors who want to invest heavily in energy and car assembly plants. And we are supporting him to do that. There comes a time when we don't call each other Chishani Unipi, Chipoka UPND. No. Every challenge that is in the country is for everyone, and we should unite as a country to overcome it. So I want to say that we are not a party of thugs. We identified them. We saw a few pockets of that happening, and we will not tolerate that.
All right. If you just tuned in, we have the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Honorable Chipoka Mulenga. He's our guest today on the hot seat here on Hot 87.7. I like that you brought in the aspect of energy, because we still have an energy crisis. Sure. What assessments has your ministry conducted on the economic losses experienced by manufacturers in the country due to load shedding?
Okay. What we have deliberately done, Vachisha, is this. Much of the impact is being felt in households. We have been deliberate not to make manufacturers, producers, and industrial sectors to go through the loss of power much. Every little that we are trying to focus it into the manufacturing sector. That's why you have seen, yes, I want to tell you this. I am penned as minister responsible for industries, be it SMEs, where Honorable Mubanga is responsible, or be it major industries. SMEs, saloons, barbershops, welders have been affected largely. It is a bad thing. But when you look at a larger scale, that is where our focus has been, to make sure that people continue to have jobs, people continue to have industries and to produce more. And I want to tell you, this year alone, in the 2024 financial year, because we are here to assess the 2025, you will see that the first biggest contribution from the manufacturing sector into the GDP has been recorded this year, 9.2%. Contribution to the GDP of our country. Because we have decided to say, the most expensive power we are importing can need to go to them. Much of what we are even producing can need to go to get them. That's why you have seen that. I feel bad that households like you, Kunganda, and others, they are going through these 3 hours and everything, which is so painful. But we focused on, say, can industries survive? But I want to say something about SMEs. It is incumbent on every member of parliament, ruling, opposition, or independent, to go back in our constituencies. Chisha, you asked me this question, my dear brother, even the last time I was here. And you asked me, what have you done yourself as Minister for Industry in your constituency? What we have done is this. I have sat with ZESCO. When you look at the same Chiwempala, next to it is Malemba Market. Next to Malemba Market is an industrial area that we have. The industrial areas were given power from 06 to 18 hours for them to work. But at Malemba Market, Chiwempala Market, that's why you find blacksmiths, Pangembogosh, and others. Them, they could not have power from 06 to 22 hours when they're going. So they will have power from maybe 22 to 02. How good is power? Then I negotiated with ZESCO. And this is what every member of parliament should do, being innovative. His Excellency has talked about it. I lobbied with ZESCO. Instead of you giving household power at 22 hours to 02, can you give power to Chiwempala Market, the same that was gutted, to Malemba Market, from 06 to 18 hours? So that abantu babombako, amasaluni babombako, amababa shop babombako. Then, because that is an industry, these are SMEs we're talking about, and that has been implemented. So that even the SMEs continue to work, at least Nangwabomba, they'll be able to buy something, kendo and other things they'll provide for their livelihoods. So these are the interventions that we have done. And it should not be just an intervention for me. It should be an intervention for every well-meaning elected official. Not just going into parliament to speak on top of your voice and be heard by the TV. It is action. But beyond that, look at our markets here in Lusaka. One of the biggest markets. What does ZESCO do? At a great cost, let's get generators to provide power for people during the times when they're working. And we'll continue to do that. It's a great cost, but we have to do it as a government. So these are the interventions that we have put in place.
What about shopping malls? They're also feeling the pinch. They're also Zambians who are hardworking,
Sure.
Make an honest living, and
Sure.
They probably feel neglected with all these interventions you've put in place for different traders.
Vachisha, I'll be very honest with you. The current situation is a painful one. You are right. At one time, I was called by the proprietor of East Park Mall. Say, Minister, you're the minister of these malls. We've got no power. We'll be closing and we'll be shutting down. We are going through this pen, and I understand what you're saying. There's even nothing to start defending or anything else. But I want to tell you the interventions we are putting in place. It is a challenge we have. It's like, look at the current load congestion that we are having. I think I was listening, it must be here this morning, where you were talking about if not here, I don't think it must be here. I was listening to you most of the time in the morning, about the traffic challenge at 6 miles.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yes, it was here
breakfast.
when I was listening in the morning. Pachisha, for many years, while traffic has continued to increase on our roads, we never invested in infrastructure development to accommodate more traffic. We only had one road. That one road, which was almost done at two more times the price, but it was just a message that was spoken. What have we decided to do? We need to increase the road infrastructure capacity, make a dual carriageway. But in the process of making this dual carriageway, there will be a certain kind of pain that the Zambian people will go through. There will be delay of cars to move. There will be traffic build-up, because it's like a pregnant woman who is yet to deliver. There will be nausea, vomiting, and other things. But when they deliver, we all celebrate the child. We forget that there was these pains. But whether we like it or not, we'll go through these challenges on that traffic issue. But I'm still calling on the people that are working on the road to say, can you quickly find alternative roads for the people to work? And I was talking to the proprietor after I listened to him. He said, what is going on? He said, the challenge we have is on the other side of the road, because it's now a dual carriageway. On the other side, our properties, you have seen at 6 miles. We will not demolish those shops. So we can't make an alternative road into the shop. So it's a pain that we are going to go through as a people for a while, because it's inevitable. We have to go through it because we have to do the road. If we are going to say traffic should flow, we should return to the on one road. So now I want to bring this now to the aspect of this energy crisis. I want to say something that the president once said. And I was listening to my elder brother Munduvile when he was filing his nominations at the secretariat, my elder brother, council, and honorable member Munduvile, when he was saying, HH has admitted that we have failed in the energy sector. So we should be logical when we debate. We should be logical when bringing issues to the table. I listened to the president loud and clearly when he was talking about that issue. And his message was this: for 50 years, as a country, we should take ownership. We have not invested in alternative energy sources. As a Zambian country, as a people, we have failed to do better in that area. As a country, we should take ownership. We did not invest into alternative road sectors. That's why we've got a challenge today at 6 miles. But what are we doing now as a country? We are putting a dual carriageway. As a country, we never invested into solar. As a country, we never invested into coal. So now, the power generation capacity we had was to produce for 3 million people when in 51 years ago it was created. 3 million people. Now, we are almost 20 million people. Chisha, we can't produce that 3 million for the 20 million. We need to increase generation capacity. And this is what we have started to do. Out of 3 million, we only had ZCCM operating. Now we have got more mines on board. We have got more industries on board. We need to increase our generation capacity. And this is what we are doing. We have expanded Mamba collieries. It will come to life next year. I wish these projects were done overnight. We should ask ourselves the question, how long did it take to build Kariba Dam? Almost 10 years after we won independence. So now, this is Mamba collieries. We want to bring about 300 megawatts of power. We are putting up more solar power plants to come to life. I wish they could be done overnight. We are putting up geothermal power plants so that they come to life. A time will come, Bachisha, and my fellow countrymen and women, because of these interventions we are doing. Maybe the biggest problem we have as a UPND is highlighting the projects that are in place so that the public understand. And I want to take ownership as Minister of Industry. Maybe I've not been doing a good job in highlighting these projects. But we need to highlight them, but they are underway. But while these projects come to life, they get fully done. This is the pain and process we are going through. It is not a good thing that we see our people go to bed without power. Why did the president go to Zimbabwe? He sent me ahead of him. We were led by our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Mulambo Aimbe, who did a good job as our delegation leader. We are importing power from South Africa. ESCOM. I was listening, I think it must be my older brother Bakalaba, who was saying, the moment he comes in, because South Africa, Zambia does not sell power to South Africa. We actually import power from South Africa. Of the 600 megawatts of power we are importing from South Africa, the power line, the transmission line is in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe did not have the ability to give us 600 megawatts because the transmission capacity was the built capacity was 600 megawatt, but they had their own infrastructure challenges. They could only give us half. But with conversations and among other things, His Excellency the President had to also fly into Zimbabwe to interact with his elder brother. How can we help each other to make sure that we're getting this? Just after that meeting, Zimbabwe has committed to say we are going to raise our generation capacity, I think from 3 and must be to, the Minister of Energy will talk about it. These are the things that we are doing. So when you hear lies to say, to South Africa, who is selling power to South Africa? Because we are importing power from South Africa. So I want to assure you that it's a painful thing, but there is a working process in progress to do this, to sort this problem out.
So to what extent is load shedding affecting investor confidence?
That's a good question. Investor confidence, or let me say development in any country, just like Aliko Dangote was saying, we need to develop our country by putting up power. Who invited Aliko Dangote? It is Hakainde Hichilema. Why did he invite him? What you have done at Dangote power plant, can you do now for the supply of power to other places? Investment, I'll tell you something, 3 issues that the President has given us directive where we should be very critical about. Number 1, power. Number 2, power. Number 3, power generation. So the investors that are coming into the country, because we have seen a fertilizer plant set up. We saw Trade King setting up a starch plant, first ever. By the way, I should tell you, there is so much strong investor confidence coming into the country. That's why you saw even Aliko Dangote coming. That's why you saw even Tony Olmero coming. That's why you saw even the president of Israel coming. And they don't just come alone, they come with a delegation of investors. But the opportunity lies also in a crisis. While there is a power challenge, what should we do as a country? These that are coming, they want to set up manufacturing plants. Set up your own power generation system. The fertilizer plant now, for the first time in many years, we have not only recapitalized nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, which is now creating more 250 new jobs in Kafiwe. We have also set up a fertilizer plant in Zambia. That fertilizer plant you have set up, the president was very clear. Do not start demanding power from ZESCO. Set up your own power plant. That fertilizer you are seeing, they are not depending on power from ZESCO. They are producing their own power, which is about 85 megawatts. And all they need is only 40 megawatts. The other 45 should now come into the grid system. They are putting up infrastructure right now, which should feed into the grid so that we also supply into the grid system. We are talking about Mulungush Textiles. I'll talk about it. Mulungush Textiles is about to come to life. We want Mulungush Textiles, their power capacity generation will be about 20 megawatt. But right now, we are installing the generator set, which we could not get on power line, so they can start using ZESCO power line, so that we can launch it this year. But the focus is, we don't want them to depend on ZESCO as well in Mulungush Textiles. We want them to depend on their independent power supply. They are clearing the land right now.
When can we expect them to start operating fully?
Mulungush Textiles?
Yes.
I can tell you confidently that the dye material and other materials, they should dock at Beira Port on the 2nd of December, according to the schedules we have. Within a week, they should offload. And by the mid or towards the late month of December, the test run must run, where we should see now Chitenge is coming out. The test runs. Not for the Mwale Vakopa industry a picture of Vaka in the HLV printed that they are printing at Mulongoshi. We haven't printed a single thing at Mulongoshi. We have installed brand new pieces of equipment. But the test runs are starting within a schedule, I'm telling you. I told you, Chisha, you asked me last time I came here, and I was telling you that towards the end of this year, we should expect the facility to run. That was the message I gave you. And I invited you to come with me. By the 2nd of December, the ships that are carrying there now, the material for this dye and other things should dock. Within a week, we should offload it, and it should be coming to Zambia. By the mid or the other 20th, 30th, we should start running the plant. By January, I can tell you that it is firing.
Okay,
so now
we'll hold on to that and follow those timelines. I just want to take you back to Aliko Dangote's visit to Zambia and meeting the president, talking about using coal as a means to generate electricity. Now, the UPND government have a whole Ministry of Green Economy.
Yes.
Isn't that in conflict, with coal being not considered a clean source of energy, and you having a green economy ministry? Isn't that a bit of a conflict? I mean, we have countries like the UK who have completely phased out coal because they're looking at more cleaner sources of energy.
Before I answer your question, let me tell you, in all honesty, clarity, and sincerity about what you have said. Give an example of the European Union, the European countries, the United Kingdom, and I'll bring in Germany as well. I'll bring in Italy as well. I'll bring in France as well. And I'm speaking this as your public servant. You know the consequences of me mentioning other countries if I was not telling the truth. Because of the challenge they have with Russia, where they used to get a lot of gas. Right now, it's winter in these countries that you mentioned. So cold. They can't get gas from other countries. What have they done? They've switched on their coal plants. Germany has switched on their coal plants. Today, Germany is importing more coal from South Africa. For what? Europe is they've switched on their coal plants today to keep their citizens warm, to keep their residents warm. What will stop you, Chisha, from firing up your power, your coal, to support you? But I'll tell you something. Yes, for the first time in our country, we have set up a Ministry of Green Economy. It's not a contrast. We have come up with technology to get the emissions of coal and use them to make the fertilizer we are using at Capta Fertilizer. When you go to a coal power plant today, there are no emissions. We are trapping it. Some of the ash is even used to make brick. Brick which you can use to build houses and other things. So there is technology today, my dear brother. When you go into the mines like Konkola copper mines, Mopani copper mines, they used to go in na kumufulira. Kukankoyo kula kwale bifo that fi center. Ngafyambo kula Chisha, my brother, you will cough mukalwale chifuba. There is now technology to trap it and make sulfuric acid. Our coal that we have is not coking coal like they have in Zimbabwe. It's phosphate coal. Phosphate, it's phosphorus kind of coal. The emissions, we trap them and we make fertilizer. So we are not emitting into the environment. We are environmentally friendly and we are building value out of it. So the Ministry of Green Economy, which for the first time our government has set up, is providing ingenious ways of sustaining our environment. So we are not in contrast to that. And when you go to these core facilities, go to the fertilizer plants, we are trapping that. There are no emissions into the environment.
Okay.
So we are using it in that way. Thank you very much for bringing that one out.
Let's talk about the cost of living. I know this is something that you're very passionate about.
Yes,
Citizens are struggling to afford basic commodities. What specific actions is the government taking to reduce the cost of living and make essential goods more affordable, specifically to the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry?
It's our mandate.
Right.
But Isha, I want to acknowledge there is means and ways we need to put in place to reduce the cost of living. Number one, the biggest problem that we have had as a country, we are an entirely import country. We had been an entire import country. You can't improve the way of life if you continue to import everything. Here I am in Lusaka Bachisha. Don't forget this. I remember the people that asked me a question in 2021 and 2022 was Peter and my dear sister Hope, to say, you guys, you have come in. Your fertilizer is selling at 1,350. When you go into Chingola, when you go into Eastern Province and other places, it is 1,500. Because we were importing this ultimately. The cost of that also affects the cost of living. What have we decided to do? We need to be a manufacturing country. What do we need to do? We need to produce our own fertilizer. Fertilizer is one of the major raw materials that we put into production. Here in Lusaka, fertilizer is going between 850, 890, 900 kwacha. From 1,350 kwacha, lowering the cost of production, lowering the cost of livelihood. What now I need to ask, okay, let me talk about this, another thing. Let's talk about food like animal feed and among other things. I want to thank the Poultry Association of Zambia because our currency was volatile, going out to 30 kwacha. Our fuel going up hazard. How do we protect these fundamentals? You don't inject fake fundamentals into the economy to stabilize your economy. You need to produce more. We had the mines that had collapsed. I worked for Konkola Pulp Mines for 15 years. It was on care and maintenance before I was kicked out for being aligned to be UPND. Mopani was on care and maintenance. Lumwana, Kansanshi were at the verge of leaving the country. No production was happening. Now, because we are producing more, we see the stability in the currency, we see the reduction in fuel and other things. What have we done? Attracted investment. Trade Kings has invested more now in the starch plant, which is now going into the production of drinks, into the hospitals, glucose and other things. Now, what is needed is this. In March, I was asked a question here and other radio stations. What are you doing? We have seen your fuel is coming down. Your currency is getting stronger. But the cost of things is still expensive. It was here where I was challenged even through a phone call. When I intervened, you remember last year, sugar was at 56 kwacha. Because sugar availability in East Africa, Central Africa was not there. They started importing from Zambia. So traders of sugar decided to sell sugar outside the country. If they want to build it in the country, sugar was going at 90 kwacha and 100 kwacha. It's my responsibility as your public servant to intervene on behalf of the citizens. Not that I'm interfering with the market forces. It is my role to protect you from exploitation because of trading that is happening outside us. When we intervene to say the stated market price of sugar must be 56 kwacha, before they increased this year, I was attacked by certain agencies. Minister now is interfering in market forces. I should protect my people. Sugar, Zambia was the producers, they must get it cheaper than the people that are importing it. Here comes now a point where now, in March, when the currency started getting better, in April, the fuel reducing. Don't forget, fuel, this diesel, was costing 35 kwacha. Today it's 25 kwacha, 10 kwacha lost. From the 10 kwacha that has moved, we should see a response on the market shelf. Let's talk about the kwacha. The kwacha was going to about 28 to 29. Today it is 22. This gain, 17 to 18% that has happened, it should trickle into a response into the market of the people. When I get involved to say, colleagues, can we now pass on the benefit to the people? You say we are interfering in the market forces. It is our role to engage. Not to interfere, but to remind the manufacturers, the traders, that can we now pass on the benefit to the people? In April, when we were engaging, they were saying it is old stock we have. Give us up to May. Once we get rid of old stock, we'll pass on the benefit. This is December. Fundamentals have gotten better. Is it still old stock? That's where now we unite, you, the Fourth Estate, and ourselves, to morally engage our friends to say, can we reduce and pass on the benefits? Because right now, with these fundamentals gain, if your price of sugar was 2 kwacha, today it shouldn't be 2 kwacha, it should be 1.8 kwacha. Because if you remain at 2 kwacha, yes, there is an there's a huge gain in your profits. But this is not even being political. It's being reasonable and responsible citizens. But I want to tell you something, Vachisha, and the listeners out there. I know when I'm talking about this, others are saying, no, because I'm right here, the dollar. Vachisha, there are 4 fundamentals that even last year and now were affecting us. One was the inflation. Inflation was 23%. It is at 11 point something, if not 12, and getting lower. The cost of fuel was 35 kwacha. It is now 25 kwacha. Then there was volatility in the kwacha. Today it can be like this, tomorrow it can be like this. It is now stable. So meaning businesses are predictable. And there was this evil energy, power. Of these 4, these 3 have been taken care of. We are remaining with 1. So these 3 should really have an influence in going down to the people.
So what are the prices that you would like to see then?
It's not about me saying these are the prices. I want to be very careful on how I answer you, Vachisha.
There's a market price that you're expecting, let's
exactly.
say. What is that?
If there is a gain of 13% in the currency, there should also be a reduction in commodity price to the equivalent. So this should be passed on. But I want you, I don't want to dictate a price on any commodity like you're telling me. It was interesting. I had an interview, very good normal interview, with a certain media house, a newspaper media house. And I said, look, actually the same journalist asked me and said, maybe you should consider to peg commodity price of things like sugar. Okay, because sugar has got a pegged price. The way you have done to fuel. If fuel in Lusaka is 2 kwacha, even in Mwansabombwe, in Chingola, in Mfue, in Monze, in Chundaponde, it will be the same price. Maybe you should do the same. And I said, yes, maybe we should do the same given what you're saying. But that thing, it will take cabinet approval, maybe parliamentary approval. Headline goes, just that, then headline goes, government pondering on the price controls. Why do we have to be sensational in our reporting? Why do we have, and we should be very careful. I want to say this even to you, our brothers and the media, even to our friends in the opposition. The sentiments you make, don't think it ends on the government, or don't think it ends in your borders. It goes beyond your borders. And investors and other communities, they say, this is not the country to go to. When punishment comes, it does not only come on a president. It affects everyone in the country. So
it's our mandate to report, isn't it? And even in the course of this conversation, you talked about the previous time where you said sugar should have been going at 56 kwacha, as you mentioned. So then you have an expectation, isn't it? So when you sit across these producers of these commodities, you're going with a certain figure. It's not something you're negotiating, is it?
Yeah. No, I agree with
that's
you.
Expected.
I agree with you, Achisha. You have to report, but report the truth, not sensationally. I'll just give you an example. It's like when I said there, I said there, I didn't say eh.
So then,
I mean that way.
How are you going to sort out this situation?
And this is what we are saying.
How are you going to move this time?
We are engaging, and I will continue to do it. It's my mandate. So when I engage, don't say I'm influencing commodity prices, I'm interfering in the market forces. And that's why I've said.
But then how should that be reported?
Listen to me. Everybody has a moral obligation, including you, the fourth estate, to now engage the producers and challenge them. The fundamentals were like this, now they are like this. Why are you not passing on the benefit to the people? I should remind them. I just can't sit and watch, Vachisha. If I don't do it, the question I would ask you is, who will? Here I am. You are holding me accountable. Minister, your fuel is cheaper. Minister, your inflation is lower. But we are not seeing the benefits.
But what about taxes? Because that's also another aspect to this that you haven't put in as one of the measures.
What about taxes?
Just generally, taxes also influence prices, don't they?
Let me tell you something, Vachisha. Ever since we took over government, you should ask yourself a question. We are the government, maybe the only government, that has not touched the pay-as-you-earn. You should ask yourself.
I'm only talking about production. Because that's
don't
the
worry,
conversation
I am
having
coming.
now.
But who produces? It is the employees who earn. So I just want to create context, to make context to your question. It's a good question, and I'm happy you have asked. But I want to make this, the Zambian people must realize, at one time, the pay-as-you-earn in the country was 17%. It moved to 17.5. It is 37.5% today. The same people, you Chisha, your salary, which was you were paying 17%, you are now paying 37.5%. The same person. This government, we have made a decision. We need to broaden the tax base. Broadening the tax base, take ulapo kafe tax kumuntu umo wine iyo. Create more jobs for more people. That's why you see in the civil service, Bachisha, we have created over 100,000 jobs. More taxpayers coming on board to contribute to the revenue. In the mining sector, Bachisha, we have created more than 30,000 jobs in the mining sector across the entire sector. You saw Mopani created 2.7 thousand jobs, KCM 150,000 or 150, and others say over 30,000 jobs. New people coming on board so that we get more taxes from there, not getting from the same people. In the manufacturing sector, Capital Fertilizer has got 10,000 new jobs, brand new jobs. Starch plant by Trade Kings has brought in 400. Next year they'll be bringing 1,000 jobs. So now we've got more where to take than from the same people. Now let's go to the manufacturing base. You asked me a good question, my dear brother. What are we doing about taxes to lower the cost of production? And this is where now I want you, the media, to work with me and hold the manufacturing sector accountable. What we have done, there is an SI that we call statutory instrument number 110. We did not even bring it. It was brought by the past regime. It was a good SI, but it was not implemented. What we have done, maybe the question you should ask yourself is, how have we even started to attract more manufacturing in the country? Why are batteries now being made, car batteries in the country, which were never made in the past in Chiwombo? Why is Mulungush Textiles going to open? Why is fertilizer being made? Why is starch getting made? By the way, I should mention the starch plant at Trade Kings. There are only 3 starch plants in Africa. One is owned by Egypt, the other one South Africa. We are the third ones. What have we done? We have removed the cost of raw materials that we do not have in the country. We've removed taxes. If we want to bring value addition in the country, and the raw material is not sourced in Zambia, bring it duty-free. So the lies that people have been making here on the radio, I want somebody to tell me that the mines are not paying taxes, because the biggest contributor to the Zambian treasury is the mines. The single mine that is even paying the most is FQM. So now, Bachisha, we have removed taxes to manufacturing, so that these taxes we've removed can support now the manufacturing base. When we reduce manufacturing, there are 3 things we want to achieve. One, we want an industry to set up in the country. Africa is yearning for value addition, but how can we be competitive? How can we support you and I to have our young brothers, our sons, our daughters to get jobs in industries? We need to give an incentive that will bring not only a foreigner, including you, Bachisha, to set up. I will even give you examples of Zambians that have now manufacturing. This is why we've removed these raw materials. We've removed even taxes on equipment to come and set up in the country. For the first time, we are now going to be assembling electric cars, because under this past budget, we have removed duty on parts to assemble electric cars. So now, what we have done, Bachisha, there are no taxes on these other raw materials and other things. There are no taxes on equipment and machinery to come and do this. So that, one, we have achieved one thing, and we continue to achieve the setting up of the plant. Number 2, you should know that when we remove a tax, it's a loss to the treasury. So when there is a loss to the treasury, it should translate into 2 things. Either you reduce the price of your products, or you create more jobs for the people. And this is where now we should work as a team to say, colleagues, these public servants have done this. What are you doing to the people? So we need to work together. Even you as a 4th estate, being the 4th estate, Chisha, your role is not only to ask me questions, it's also to hold accountable private sector, public sector. Say, this has been done, what is there? So we are partners. We need to work together in this. So we should ask them, there is this fundamental, what have you done? There is this fundamental, what have you implemented? And together we'll do it. So on the taxes aspect, there's been a strong tax relief to the entire manufacturing production sector so that we can grow our manufacturing base.
Are you unhappy with how the manufacturing sector has responded to having that relief that you are putting on the table?
I can't, on this aspect of manufacturing base, I'll say I'm very impressed that the world, the region, and the country have seen the need to set up manufacturing base in the country. In the last 4 years, we have attracted a lot of manufacturing industries in our country. It's not automatic. This now, maybe I should make it clear, not contradicting myself, but I should make it very clear. We have been in a phase of investment. Look at the fertilizer plant. Fertilizer in the next years may even become cheaper Why may it become cheaper than what it is today? Yes, we're producing locally, but the producers of fertilizer have invested over $1 billion in the project. It must be almost $1 billion, 998 million, with more $1 billion. Have they recouped have they broken even? Not yet. Have they recouped their profits? Not yet. So this is where you see that there's still capital injection. So they are making to reinvest and to grow the aspect. But after maybe 3 years or so, they have made their profits. It's now a time to reap. And the benefits will continue to be passed on to the people. So we are in a phase, my dear brother. If we invested in value addition in our country years before now, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
All right, let's get the people involved. Give us a call, 0974-870-877. Call us now. We have Mr. Chipoka Mulenga, Honorable Chipoka Mulenga. He is the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry. He's our guest here on the hot seat today. Call us now. Let's get in your question or contribution.
You're listening to the hot seat on Hot FM 87.7. It's time for you to call now and get involved. Call now and get involved.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, Honorable Minister.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for coming through.
This is Dr. Proud.
Dr. Proud, how are you, sir?
First of all, you should assist the Hot FM to find a big place because that place is too small, parking in the road. You, as a Commerce Minister, you know 2026 is in here to come. We are going to host more people. To another topic, my Minister, let us end road shedding.
Sure.
That's why you see people, they have now recruitment people of the South Republic President in Facebook, including Stony, in the hiding of road shedding. But they should not forget, these people that we are in the government, they even went to Brazil to plan to end road shedding. They have failed. President Hagan is managing to bring solar where they never bring it. So let us shame them because when you people as them people, Chingola, you are in road shedding, someone know, let us remove this person as failed with his government. To come in the topic, I want to salute you. We are all sending a message to Jelabo. Let us disband Jelabo. Those people must start farming. We don't want those people to start cattle. Tomorrow they are going to have a gun. Thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Proud, thank you for your call. 0974-870-877. What's your question or contribution for Honorable Chipoka Mulenga, who is the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry? Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very fresh. Mr. Fresh on the line.
Your government name, sir?
Charles Mbewe.
Charles. Okay, please go ahead, Charles.
Yes, Honorable Chipoka Mulenga, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mbewe. How are you, my brother?
Inanishabe bwino na njala ni mati kira kotenze na njala mpie kubatiano yankala overdose, Honorable.
Okay.
In this case, allow me to say, today you are speaking a bit well, but you are not speaking the reality on the ground, Honorable. In these days, Honorable, things are so easy, contrary to what used to happen in MMG, where people were far away from, social media. Today, everything that we do in these communities are within our, our phones, and everything is under our phone. So, if you continue missing the reality on the ground, then you are telling the president to continue misleading the country the way you have misled us, because the things that you promised us, none of them, Honorable, if you are real, you can point major things that you used to pick during the 10-point plan and show us to say this is what we have achieved. So far, road shedding, you talked about this road shedding, which has doubled more than it was. You talked about reducing of fuel, which has doubled more than it was. You talked about meal, which is also doubled than it was. Fertilizer is far away from the expectations of Zambia. Even when the stoning which we condemned, okay, it happened because you did not tell the president the truth. What is happening on the ground, Honorable, is different from what you have been
Charles,
speaking.
we need you to
What
conclude,
the president knows is different from what is on the ground.
We need you to
Things
conclude.
are bad. Can we stick to the reality and allow the public to express themselves? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your call there. 0974-870-877. Call us now. What's your contribution? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Mr. Soko calling from the issue.
Mr. Soko, we'll just kindly ask that if you have us on loudspeaker, just use your mouthpiece because we're struggling to hear you clearly.
Mwapapwaje mkogolezo no?
Sokole itoko bwino tukaimu.
Tiamikile takabwino. Sokole kamba chapa chirungamo ni chabwino nda as you mwane mwamvera maviewers kukamba chirungamo njala yega mwamatira tera mwatita double tikapena ni triple zingati double njala. Problem nakuti imwe va president wose ma followers timumvera ma advice kuvantu kwanetikamba. Apa 2026 ni pafupi maningi majenzi za kujara so yembekezani venangu wakwele waterezeko vamine vazamvera ururu maneti mverera njara pano nuchedi mbuloro mkamvire so ni maningi mkombo ni vantu wadanda ula valinda malodi vamaiki mposha kuno vanakanjwa completely closed. Clinic anamanga wanzao wapie kuja but wakati wa mposha kusegula clinic vonse vinasira vanamanga kawa clinic pamoja but clinic ikulu wanaona manga pia kuprivy sasa gura we don't know sisa ti why tafuno segura ni majera sibati tu
niko tuko Asoko niko tuko
alongo jemu kolo de kusiri kukulasi kwa tama kekuja kuli clinic vanamanga niosira kudala
niko area bonjoko
ni Mtendere East.
Tendere East. Okay.
Yes. Vakangi wa kusegura wamposa sizo but the third part munaika po CTF when it's not you who go to that clinic. You see? That's the problem. So 2026 guys, please pave the way. Still for 2026. Thank you.
All right, we appreciate your call. Honorable, we have Dr. Proud Charles and Mr. Soko there.
Okay, I'll start with Mr. Soko. Mr. Soko says the load shedding is too much. This is the same thing that Mr. Mbewe has said. Chisha, we can't run away from this. It's a painful thing and it's a bad thing. But the question is, are we doing something about it or not? Yes, we are doing something about it. Whether we like it or not. One, truth be told, we had a serious drought. And the only investment that Zambia had was hydropower generation only, no any other. When there is a drought, then there is no water for the turbines to produce water for you. That is unfortunate. That's why even the president said we should have invested in alternative sources beyond hydro. But are we doing something about it to move away from the dependence of hydro? Yes, we are.
But there was load shedding even before the drought.
Now, let me tell you something. Not under our reign. Not under our reign. It came... This is the second year of our drought, of our load shedding. Not under our reign.
There was load shedding.
Peter, Chisha, I'll be very clear with you. And on this one, if you want to debate, I'll leave it up to you. But realities don't lie. When I was here, Peter was seated there, Hope was seated there, 2021 November. They said, you said you finished load shedding. There is no drought. Where is it? And I challenged him. We have always had 2 turbines to supply Zambia, but we have brought in 3 to generate power. We inherited load shedding, I'll tell you the truth. Yes, there was. But after we brought in 3 turbines, load shedding went. There was enough water then, but there was no machines to stand the water. Victor Mapani was MD for ZESCO then. He was the engineer that was tasked to make sure that ended, and he did. But when we had load shedding, or when we had a drought, here we are. So if we never had the drought, the worst drought in living memory, the worst drought, we would have been producing power. So when you say under our reign, we had load shedding when we had the good rains, you have to remind me. But I was not in that government. So that one, I don't agree with you. But because I speak like this, it will seem like I'm just arguing with the people. I shouldn't. So let me be objective on this aspect. We have now begun aggressively to invest in alternative sources. That's why you even saw the same Alinko you're talking about, to say, can we put up solar power plants? Coal power plants. The China power, can we put up power plants? The Chinese that have set up the biggest steel plant in Zimbabwe, right now as I'm talking to you, they are meeting one of the presidential advisors on this solar power production. So that should we have a drought, we can easily turn on coal. Should we have a drought, we can still turn on the solar power plant. These are the questions that Basoko and Wambewe should even be asking the same people that are saying, we'll pave way. What would they have done? What would they do? Because we are now investing in what should be done. Like I gave the example, whether we like it or not, because we never had alternative sources, and we have begun now. The challenge is with us. And we are thinking forward on how to overcome it, and we are going to do it. So even next year, when you say May, June, July, start these projects coming on board and power coming on board, don't take it political. The investment is happening now. Only that it cannot happen overnight, but it has got an investment period, incubation period, and harvest period. So it's a painful thing. I'm with you, and I lament. But together, we can achieve it. Now, let's go to the other aspect where he's spoken about. We have not opened a clinic in Mutendere East because it is a PF project that was done. I think Mutendere, this must be Munali constituency, where Mike Imposha is. I will engage him. Our policy and the government, as a government, governance is a continuous process. Just because you, Chisha, you have knocked off from that seat and I take over, I should not change everything that you did. I should continue it. Only the bad things that you brought in, that I cannot continue. I can't continue with thuggery. It's a disappointment. I think it must be Bambewe who has said, Bambewe, I can assure you, we cannot entertain criminality as substituting it for anything. Even here in Lusaka, if you want to throw a stone, giving an excuse because of what, then you are just nothing but a criminal. And the law must take its course. Like you have said, 2026, that's where you should speak, or even dialogue now on how we can resolve problems. The peace we are enjoying in the country is what is even making, you're talking about you should allow us to talk. Vambewe, my dear cousin, you should talk. That's why even that social media you have, we see people talk and highlight things. Freedom of expression is allowed, but violence is never the case. Look at how you have come, Vambewe. You have come with respect. You have not insulted me. You have spoken to me and I'm willing to respond to you. This is as it should be. Even yourself, you should speak. Like you said, you abhorred violence, but again, you support it. You can't go that route. Then now, let's go to the public express themselves. Yeah, the same Bambewe said, you should listen to the people. Bambewe, we are willing to listen to you. Come up with solutions. Here, Bambewe, what you do is you don't come with solutions, you come with lamentations. But I'll tell you the solutions to the problems we have. It's a building block we have. We had a country, which had borrowed more than it can pay. It was here in 2022, 2023, where the country was saying, Eka indiale pitana sana. But Eka indiale pitana sana kuya kuisa. He was going to England, he was going to America, he was going to France, he was going to China. Why? Because that is where we had borrowed the money. In 2019, we became the first country to fail to pay Kongole to Kongola. Now, these foreigners were going to come and start getting assets like Zesco and other things. So, to stop them from getting Zesco and other things, that's why Akainde was going to those countries to engage them, to say, do not get these assets. Allow us to grow our economy. You are giving us beyond what we could pay. And don't say we should pay you everything at once. Can you stagger it so that we can pay you a little bit and others we invest into socio-economic development? That is what we are doing. Coming to Dr. Proud. Dr. Proud, I hear you. Dr. Proud is a strong UPND member who has been calling here. You see, he's talking about, can you end the load shedding? It is an evil that we are all focusing on to end. Yes, Dr. Proud. We are not just sleeping. Like I told you, 3 priorities of government. Power, power, power. So that we can stop this. And that's why these investments are coming on board. Maybe in the same way, we took some time, Dr. Proud, to go to Kariba Dam and other political opposition leaders to see the water levels. I should take Wasoko, I should take my cousin Imbewe, including Dr. Proud, to say, these are the investments we are putting on. Construction is taking place, but it cannot be finished today. It will be finished after this place, after so much a period. In the same way, you are complaining about the traffic challenges in the Dola Lusaka dual carriageway. But we can't stop making for you to start passing. Then we are not going to achieve the greater good to enhance trade. It has to be finished. Maybe we should drive along the road and say, that's why you have got this congestion, because we are constructing a road. Once it's done, it will be good.
We have a message from Tengani Zulu, who's watching on Facebook, on the Hot FM Zambia Facebook page. He says, What is the UPND doing about the MP who went on an anthill saying Kadarism is back? A few days later, PF Secretariat was attacked by UPND cadres. Will the UPND reprimand that rogue MP from Southern Province?
Okay.
Your response
I've
to
seen,
Tengani.
Tengani. I don't know. These young boys are busy with me today. I've got Mbewe, Soko, and now I've got this Tengani here. Tengani, my dear brother, you even saw that the member of parliament went even on TV to apologize for what he said. That does not reflect who we are. Kadaism or anything should not be a part of us. My dear brother, Honorable Kasauta even went to apologize to the public. He felt, he was in the moment with the anger that we saw that kind of thing. But the president has put his foot down. What the Zambian people hate is thuggerism, hooliganism. And we can't allow that to come back. That's why even the National Youth Chairperson Tengan, my dear brother, you are right. What we saw by even those UPND young people should be abhorred in the strongest term. It should never have happened. We should not even do it. You should even judge us based on how we have come in the last 4 years. One separate incident should not define us, who we are. And we are strong to avoid it. Compare us with the past. Did you ever see a shooting of a cadre, beating of cadres, being abhorred, or being stopped by a leader? It was actually encouraged. We are not going to tolerate that, including our cadres. Even me as member of parliament, I do not hold the senior position in the party. I'm a member of parliament, but I'll tell my youths, I'll tell my people in the constituency, never raise arms. Zero. Never raise arms.
All right, let's pick up some more calls. 0974-870-877. Hello, good morning.
Morning, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. My name is Kamanga.
All right, Kamanga, we have the Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry with us here.
Okay, Honorable. Good morning.
Good morning. Is this Kamanga again from Eastern Province?
Obviously.
These young people. There was Soko, Mbewe, Zulu, now you.
But me, I'm not a young person.
No, I'm Mulenga. That's why I'm picking a fight with you. Don't worry.
No problem.
Okay, cousin.
Yes. I know you can do better.
Yes, sir.
That much I know. And you have the power even to tell the manufacturers that if you do not follow our guidelines where you are reducing their taxes in order for them also to reduce their prices, then you'll be yourselves to blame because you can sanction them.
Sure.
Yes, because the majority of the Zambians really, they would like to see that their price of meal, their price of sugar, which is in a Kambala product in our background, it's coming down, and also meal.
Yes, sir.
You can do better, I know that.
Thank you, sir.
And especially you in that position, you carry the mantle. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Let's do the best together.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Kamanga, thank you for your call there. Let's pick up another one here and allow the minister to respond. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, sir.
I'm okay. This is Wom Sanje calling you from Kanyama Central.
Wom Sanje, good morning.
Thank you, Honorable. We are very much all right.
Thank you.
Honorable, one thing we can encourage you is continue what you are doing. These industries you are opening, some you will not appreciate now because vintu vonse vili bwino Honorable vabwino vonse vili na process. I will give you a process of Lokigira Mana College. A simple one so that everyone can understand. Honorable Banga College ya mwana mufunira maona gambaula mufaka kamuliro mwasuka kapoto mwafaka tumanzi twabwata Honorable College mwafaka unga college ya bwata yapya. Even the process hiyo yembelezera kutizizile. It's another process. Manyumba mutina vana vajamene valira maningi achoka na malende achoka mwana hapo na pole jilipa muliro kwachi.
Sure.
But before Honorable kuti pole jitenti pule chukua mwana walira maningi wachoka maningi malende kimutiete pole jamene sinapi. What will happen? azamwalira azabala mwana. Those are the process yamene mukamba ona leba yakuti malaiti abalena kusulite appreciate you are investing in solar and the core. Uko kumamba kwa mene banasi ya mankongole leve we are getting malaiti ya mahala basi ya mankongole mbwe papa industry. If you wanaona kuchoka malaiti ya buna aseme wanajita boosting atometika mbapano kapena asembe mamba kwa mani acho sa 1,000 megawatts but sila na chite baenda kutenga kongole 750 euro bonds.
We need you to conclude, please.
Mungu akutali seni ma project yambiri wa PF wanakambira kuti tribe ndalama yanasala pa 80% and below project yamene yasika. Mukasiriza bazitashi. Simunasirize batandawa. Thank you, Honorable. Mungu akutali seni.
Okay, Zikom. All right, let's pick up another one here. Call us now, 0974-870-877. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. Mulenga mulishani?
Ndo mtende ni bani hapa?
No, Joseph Zulu.
Zulu, hadi bwanja boss.
Watumira kuno kuka banana.
Okay, Zulu.
Kwa ine msogoleri sikomo kwambiri, binangu bakamba kudara vintu.
Okay.
Ma problem binangu bakamba kudara. Problem yanga ine nifuma kamba pa chipani.
Okay.
Pati bachabinga. Pa first makamba kuti simufuna chongo, bantu andeo, imwe simu wakonda. Simamene msogoleri.
Yeah, ifame.
Sure. So tikamba kuti ija chavinga ija ni vuto amene iyamba pang'ono because chipani cha PF kuli binango ne bachikonda nchimozimozi na chipani cha PND kuli binango bachikonda nawe imwe muni mu government waye simungaone poti ndiye vuto amene iyamba pang'ono kusogolo za tivuto waye simungaijuiretu manje vuto ine blame yenda kuli ba judiciary makoti. Why is under using a court? The problem of a court is that over fast before 2026 because everyone are ready to vote 2026. Munivera sogoleki.
Tivera.
Point yanga na kuti imwe government please kusandizeni chifukwa chipani tichikonda cha PF mbere mkondera imwe UPND. Chifuna chipani chatu tibwe tikalite compete proper buno bwino ngati kuwina mkawine futi buno bwino. Tisire ni chipani chatu tifuna tikale nacho tichikonze bwino
Azutambera funso yanu zikomo kwambiri
msogoleri.
All right, Honorable, please respond.
Thank you. I will answer Bazulu last. Let me go to my elder man, Mr. Kamanga, who says you can do better. If you have to sanction these manufacturers, sanction them. Thank you, sir, Mr. Kamanga, for this word. This we need to do together as a team. If we have to engage the manufacturers to act right, they should act right. Yes. Sir, we will do this. We need even people like you to come on board. There is something that we have created which we call the Public-Private Dialogue Forum, where even citizens like yourself can bring ideas on how we can manage this, because it must be done. Including you, the media, I encourage you, let's do this noble cause together. It is not only for Chipoka, it is for everyone. But me given the mandate, as a commerce minister, I should lead the way. Mr. Kamanga, I salute you, sir, and I take heed of your guidance. And trust me, we'll act on it.
So how do you do it without, just disrupting the free market economy idea?
I mentioned it, Chisha, earlier, that there is a moral aspect to anything that happens. I know it's a liberalized economy. But it begins to be immoral for you to make mega profit at the expense of the people that you are meant to provide for. So the business community, the manufacturing community said to us, we are failing to trade because this fuel is too expensive. I want to say something that my dear brother Bambe was talking about. The same fuel which is saying, no, it was cheap, now it is expensive. Listen to this. We found almost $1 billion of borrowed money in fuel. $1 billion, the suppliers of fuel, others are in the country, don't want to mention them. But these figures are real. Where we could produce fuel on the market, but not paid for it. Who is supposed to pay for it? It is you and me as a citizen. That's why we said, can we now bring more private sector on board while we liquidate this? Instead of government going to court, we should start now paying the $1 billion in the debt that the government borrowed. We were living kwani ulo mfiashu panga ndana Range Rover mairona fuara na four corner with a tuxedo but mwamana ba verify sa pokenganda, and people would ask baba information munganda ba Range Rover ba ikele Congo. We've seen that. Right now Zambia is sitting with a huge debt over that Turkish ship that was docked to Mozambique, Mombasa, Kapawapu. Millions of dollars. ZESCO can't even import power on its own. That's why now we've changed the policies. Can we get the private sector? And I should mention, if we did not revise the policies in the energy sector, because actually only ZESCO can supply power to anyone else. But the ZESCO, which is almost bankrupt, has got no money, which cannot even go to Mozambique, cannot go to South Africa and borrow and buy power on itself. That's why we've said, can now we have the private sector use ZESCO power lines, pay ZESCO for using them, but borrow from other countries and other producers and sustain our economy. This is what we have done. So I can assure you, when you talk about bringing this, engaging the manufacturers, there should be a moral aspect. But beyond that, there is a certain requirement that we need to have in the profit-making margins. I'm engaging my director for domestic trade. This should be her bread and butter. The inflation is this, the fundamentals are this. Have we passed on to the people? This is what we should do. But before even that happens, I should just call upon the manufacturers, the traders. Can we pass on the benefits of what you were asking for to the public?
So Minister, this moral aspect isn't on paper.
Listen to this.
It's not tangible, is
no,
it?
No. Now let me answer you in this.
It's a sentiment that you're hoping for.
Now listen to this. I'll tell you. Like Mr. Kamanga said, there are policies and laws that warrant a certain profit margin to be met. It's a WTO requirement, World Trade Organization requirement. So now, you know, umuntu wafunje nkala mukata pamukosho. When we never call the fatamona, you can't even mule trade with tamule fire. Now they have to start getting laws to curtail how you do business. Like Mr. Kamanga said, if that's what it takes, it has to be implemented. But can we act responsibly? I want to thank the Nachirandila the producers of cement, of fertilizer. It gets down. The Poultry Association of Zambia, stock feed, 2 months ago or 3 months ago, they reduced the price of stock feed by 5 to 8%. Tiger Feeds and others. We should expect it in our take Nkoko to reduce a little bit. But they'll say, yes, stock feed now will, but I'm like, but look, the power was high, was not there. Stock feed was expensive, and the price was like this. Can you pass on the benefit to the people?
So just so you're not misquoted, you're not against the free market economy?
No, we are not against the free market of economy. The free market of, and we are not even planning, contemplating on changing the free market economy policy. It is there.
Okay. In the interest of time, let's respond to the other.
Okay, thank you very much. But Mr. Kamanga, I take heed of your guidance and counsel. You will see us doing something about it. Then let me go to Womon Sanje. Womon Sanje has said something important. You are nurturing something. My dear brother, of the thousands of cars we see on the Zambian roads, no contribution of that was happening to a country from Zambia to that. But the manganese that we have, we are exporting it in its raw form. What have we decided to do? When you're driving to Copper Belt, Chiwombo, congestion. Chiwombo on your right side from Lusaka, driving into Chiwombo to Kabwe. On your left side when you're coming into Lusaka. There are those fancy, beautiful warehouses. Those were built under the past regime, and we thank you that they brought them to set up an economic zone. But they were meant to be warehouses. They manufacture things in China, shirts and everything. They stock them there to put into your warehouse, your these China malls you have, and export others to DRC. I was sent there in 2022 January. I've never forgotten by the president. Go there and make an announcement. These will not be warehouses. They should be transformed into industrial parks, and that's what we have done. Today, now you can buy your Sunvolt battery made in Zambia. Don't always just buy these foreign brands. Now buy your own battery made in Zambia. When you buy a made in Zambia battery, you are keeping your young boys and girls in employment. You are making money to come for free education. Now, beyond that, we are now even bringing that Mulungush textiles I told you about and other things coming on board. So it takes a process of time for these industries to be built, for these industries to break even, for these industries now to give back to the community. But ultimately, a process has started of rebuilding the nation. We should have done what we are doing even 20 years ago. Then we could have said, okay, we are an industrialized country. Because all we are doing is, all the conflicts in this country, even when we took over government, we are coming from South Africa, Kellogg's. But now, today, we've got the conflicts being made. The only value addition we were doing, Kumataba, was Ubunga and Nagaga. But now we can make value out of it. Let me go quickly to Bomo Sanje. Thank you for your engagement. And you have said that they left so much debt. Yes. Mamba Collieries, we were owing them over $20 to $30 million. Mamba and Zesco were even in court. Companies that we own, there could not be production. Now we have cleared the debt and we are building a more plant. Building a power plant is not going to happen overnight. It takes a process, but we have started. And it will take some time to finish this, and we'll overcome this load shedding. In the same way, people doubted and said we cannot bring free education. We cannot enhance CDF. We cannot recruit civil servants in the numbers we have recruited. We cannot reopen Mopani copper mines. We cannot reopen Konkola copper mines. But we have done it. We will overcome load shedding as well. In the same way. Now let me go quickly to Bazulu. Yeah. Bazulu, Mr. Zulu, balando kwevati. Balefwaya, you PF yabo yishalira bene, tuleke Chavinga filarechita. Bazulu, what business is Chavinga and PF to us? They are Rangos. PF is known for Rangos. PF, even when we were in opposition, remember when Basata died? PF went and held 2 conventions. Was Akainde influencing that? We were in opposition. There were 2 conventions. One was, I think, my older brother Mao Sampoku, Edgar Lungu, may so rest in peace, all was there were pangas and chaos themselves. Not very long ago, these are people who have been having chaos after chaos. Them, that's what they thrive on. Then, if you buy Kalila Fiongo, they've set precedents. Varanda teach Kwanka, Bachmwana Kuma Mpalanya. Ama Mpalanya, Baba Zulu, Baba Banana. Ya Fiongo Dionse, ya Lubudi Dionse. They started doing it in opposition. They kept doing it. In fact, remember, this is a political party again, sometime back when they were in position, where we saw somebody, inshallah, from the stairs, they hired themselves to beat someone. This is who they are. This is what they thrive in. So even the arrests that may come in Chingola, don't be surprised when you see some of the names being mentioned.
Well, you said you wait for the investigation
we will wait.
To be done.
Don't be surprised. So even now, Bazulu, is Chavinga UPND? Is not. Is PF. And I don't even want to do much on what they're talking about. Is Mao Samba UPND? Is not. Is Bamundu UPND? Is not. So what do you want us to do? You are saying because we're in government, we should talk to the judiciary. Bazulu, just because PF you are interfering with the judiciary. We will not interfere with the judiciary. The judiciary is independent. The decisions they make is independent. That's why you see that even the UPND loses cases in parliament, in the courts. So why do you want me to go and do an illegal act, Bazulu? Just because you want PF to be intact. Now you want to be. You've got more than 6, 7...
we have to end here.
It's important, Bazulu. You may say that, you may accuse yourself, but look, let your democracy take its course. In conclusion, I want to remind the Zambian public, we are committed to doing the right thing for everyone, to build this economy in a resilient and sustainable manner by value addition. Ask yourself a question, even when you look at the opposition that we are asking for, where were they when there were no jobs for civil servants? Where were they when the mining industry was shutting down? Where were they when they were closing media houses just for speaking against them? We don't do that. Where were they when they were interfering in the rule of law? We are a government that is going to build ourselves in a resilient way, bring everybody on board. So I call you to build a Zambia that is resilient, sustainable, and good. Let us abort disunity, let us abort violence, and work together as one Zambia, one nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us. And I will take you up on that offer to go and see the Mulungushi textile
Yes,
plant
yes, my dear brother.
when you're ready to do that.
Gladly.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we've just been speaking to Honorable Chipoka Mulenga. He is the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry. He's been our guest here on the hot seat on Hot 87.7. Thank you very much for listening to Tuesday's edition of the show. I've been your host, Chisha Mwambe. Look out for Thursday's edition with my colleague, Peter Zulu. Wherever you've been joining us from, good morning to you. If you're listening on our sister station, Kwitu FM 93.3, also on Kanele FM 97.7 in Lundazi. And also, thank you so much for leaving us your comments on Facebook on the Hot FM Zambia page. Thank you very much for listening. Stay tuned.
Many have come and gone. 20 years later, we're still here. Hot FM 2020 is getting too hot in here. I said it's getting hot in here. The heat is on.